Well, he's just gorged on something ethanol free instead of me, and now that he's got a full tank, he's a lot calmer. The comment I get most often from people when they see this bike for the first time is, what a beast. But I wonder, is a Moto Guzzi 1000S really such an animal to live with? I think we need to get out on the road if we're going to find out. The engine starts easily and quickly settles into a regular pulsing thud. Once on the move, it all smooths out very nicely. The lovely ticking valve noise eventually disappears as the wind draw takes over. Slow speed riding is a real pleasure, with a ton of torque wafting you along. In the late 1980s, motorcycling was at a relatively low ebb. Small players like Guzzis sold few machines. In 1989, when it was launched, the 1000S entered a market dominated by plastic crotch rockets, and it duly flopped. Dealers only shifted around 670 worldwide during its first year of production. The design cues for the 1000S were taken from the stunningly attractive 750S, the last round barrel 750 before the Le Mans. The 750S and 1000S actually share very few components, because the latter is basically a Le Mans 5 underneath the minimal 1970s bodywork. The Tonti frame and early Le Mans style tank being the two obvious components carried forward. In 1989, as a contemporary take on an iconic design, the 1000S delivered a perfect blend of relative modernity in propulsion with timeless classical style. The first time I saw one of these 1000S bikes was at the NEC show in Birmingham, and it would have been probably 1990. And of course, in those days with no internet, you had no idea what you were going to see. And I can remember rocking up to the Guzzi stand and seeing two of these. There was one parked slightly higher up on a plinth, and one on the floor with spotlights on them, and they looked absolutely incredible. The distinctly different 91 model range proved to be too different for most. Even the stunning 1000S found little favour amongst buyers at the time. In the early 1990s, retro did not enthuse the public very much. With just 84 horsepower, most looked elsewhere for something sporty. With such an antiquated lineup, it's hard to believe that the remarkable Daytona arrived that same year. Anyway, back to the 1000S and why it's my favourite Guzzi, possibly my favourite bike of all time. With 84 horsepower, easy maintenance, linked brakes and fuss-free shaft drive, plus the looks and that soundtrack, perfect. Often described as a part spin special, the lovely stainless steel mudguards and highly polished yokes suggest a much more perfectionist approach by the Mandello factory. I consider the 1000S to be the original factory-built, classically styled cafe racer. I can see you're enjoying that bit of road.
Yeah.
That's nice, isn't it? In the 1970s, Moto Guzzi claimed that their bikes were long-legged and easy to live with in some rather saucy adverts. That description matches the 1000S perfectly. The 948cc 90-degree V-twin is just as happy pootling along as it is pummeling a motorway. A regular criticism levelled at Italian bikes of the time was poor build quality. This particular bike has covered 80,000 kilometres, many miles on tour through rain and snow. It's been 100% reliable and still polishes up nicely. So the 1000S can scratch or tour, it's comfortable to up, it's fast enough, it's built like a brick outhouse, it looks fantastic. How on earth did Moto Guzzi only manage to sell 3,000 worldwide in its entire model history? I guess with the current V7s flying out of the showrooms, some in S livery, proves that Guzzi were some 30 years ahead of the competition back in 1989. Well, that concludes my review of the Moto Guzzi 1000S. I'll just park up here and go and collect the camera for the last time. Just excuse me a moment.
Yeah.